Hello again and welcome to the Marketing Study Guide. In this video, I'm going to have a look at my top 12 tips for analysing and using perceptual maps. Hopefully it will come in handy for you. I'm just looking at the standard 2-axis perceptual map that no doubt you've used before, and I've just got a simple example for you. Now, to have this map, we typically need to do a consumer survey and grab consumer data and feed it in. Okay, that's going to be a great starting point if we're using real perceptual data, so the maps become real and a real reflection of the marketplace. Okay, so let's jump into it. What are my 12 tips? First one is we've got to use lots of maps. We've spent a lot of money, we've asked consumers a lot of questions, we've got a lot of data. Let's not just go, oh, well, I think we'll use this map, that attribute, that attribute. Okay, I've got a couple there, but that's just one map. We just keep going through all the data and putting it all together. I've got a template that you can use through the link down below. And what's going to happen as we do that, we're getting out of our own mindset, how we think the market is, our understanding of the market. Remember, we're experienced marketers, so we have strong opinions about that, but this is fresh information, so this should help us. So it's going to give us better insight, better understanding if we run lots of maps rather than relying on 2 or 3 standard maps that we always use. Oh, they're the important attributes. They're the ones we should look at, or even better, they're the ones that show us in the best light. We don't care about that. We need to know reality. Second thing we could use a perceptual map for, is more of a usage thing, is where are the gaps in the marketplace? So, there's a gap over here, there's a gap there. This feeds into our product line extensions, our new product process, maybe our communication, maybe brand positioning down the track. So are there gaps and opportunities in the marketplace? But then I've got this word, take care. Now, if there is a gap in the marketplace, we've got to go, is there a reason for there's a gap, or that's just a neglected opportunity? Sometimes these gaps are not viable. What that means is there's no underlying demand, or very little underlying demand. It's a very niche market and it's just not viable for us. It could be too expensive to construct such a product, etc. So we've got to really understand that gap there. Why has nobody else gone into it? Why are we the first ones to see this? And if it makes sense, yes, go chase it, go after it. But just step back for a moment and go, competitive marketplace, nobody's in that space. Why is that the case? And often some sort of history lesson going back into the market, seeing if prior products have come to market or not, could be helpful. Third thing is how to use it is strategy execution. Okay, so in terms of us as brand managers, what are we going to do with this information? How are we going to position? There are multiple ways of doing it. Most brands will go for an empty space that has an underlying demand. So we want clear, distinct positioning. We call that differentiation. So where are we unique? Where do we stand out? So most positioning is built around targeting space, having a clear point of difference. So there's nobody else with a similar offering. So we actually want to be almost like a monopoly in the marketplace. So consumers go, I want a product that does this or provides that benefit. Oh, it's that brand. That's the only solution, or that's the best solution. So that's an ideal positioning. But there are other strategies. We can crowd a competitor. So we may have this as our ideal spot, and there's a competitor there. So we introduce multiple products around it with a similar positioning to start stealing their market share. Not just one, maybe 2, maybe 3, and deteriorating that position. Hopefully to the point where that competitor goes, well, this positioning now is too competitive. There's all these competitors, I don't know where they came from, or they're trying to disrupt us. Let's reposition into a more viable space. So if you want to own something and there's a competitor there, you can disrupt their business for a while. The opposite of that is copying. So you may be a smaller brand, and up here this might be a large brand, for example, and they're doing well. So we go, okay, there's clearly market demand. They've got 40% market share. If we have a similar offering, a similar positioning, maybe priced a little bit cheaper, we're going to pick up a piece of that 40%. Sure, they've got the brand, they've got the loyalty, the customer following, perhaps a superior product, but if we can pick up, 5% of that or 10% of that, wouldn't that be fantastic? Because we know there's a demand there. So there's different strategies: being unique, disrupting a competitor, or copying a competitor, a major competitor. It's also going to help us with our repositioning goals. From time to time, particularly older brands or brands that have been overtaken by competition or technology, or consumer needs have changed, or there's been a shift in target market or something like that, from time to time we're going to want to reposition. So perceptual maps will help us understand how we need to reposition. And remember, I've only got these two attributes here. In our positioning analysis, we're going to be looking at lots of maps. So we're going to have a lot of information about how we reposition, not just on two attributes. This is probably the most important thing on this whiteboard here. Assessing our marketing and brand development. How well have we done? Okay, so this gives us an overall opinion of our brand management. Now obviously we've got sales, we've got profit, very important things, but if we can have a look at various perceptual maps from a year ago, 2 years ago to today, and we've invested a lot of money into brand building or brand positioning, then it's telling us and telling management, which we can pass on, gee, we were here, we're now here. We were down here and we're trended up here, and now we're up here. And that money, that investment, not only is it giving us increased market share, increased profitability, but our brand position has substantially improved. We've surpassed competitor X, Y, and Z. So it's a way of identifying how successful we've been and evaluating our marketing and communicating that if necessary. Obviously, it also tells us when we haven't been successful. Yes, we've done some brand positioning, we've spent a lot of money, but it really hasn't delivered anything. Not a great outcome, but helpful information for going forward. Okay, this communication strategy or this revision of the marketing mix is not helping us achieve our brand goals. So we need to rethink what we're doing. So either way, good news or bad news, is very helpful information for us as marketers. Okay, we can analyze competitors the same way. This competitor here used to be here and used to be here going back 1 or 2 years. So we can quickly go, okay, that competitor, I know what they're up to. They're trying to reposition here, they're trying to get this space, they're trying to challenge that other brand over here. And how have they done that? Okay, let's have a look at their marketing mix now. Last year, the year before, what's evolving, what's happening with their product and pricing and their other marketing mix elements, all those things. And that gives us tremendous understanding of the marketplace. We can see from what they've done, not just what we've done, but what they've done, what works, how it works. So when we go to spend money, not only do we have our lessons to learn from, but we have our competitors. They've put their money at risk. It may have worked, may not have worked, so we look at both competitors who have improved their positioning and competitors who have eroded their positioning and work out, okay, what are the dimensions that trigger a good position or a good reposition, and which are the marketing mix elements doing the opposite. So that's very, very handy information. And you can see I'm digging far below just, oh, that's a map, there you go, here's a couple of attributes. I'm trying to then connect it to other information we have to keep digging into how this market works, how consumers are responding, what competitors are doing. So it's a fantastic tool overall. Obviously related to competitors is new players. Typically when new companies come in, they see an opportunity. They want to do things differently. They want to come in with points of difference. They think there's chances for them to grab market share, take it away from the existing players, potentially grow the market. So they're quite interesting to have a look at about what they're doing, okay, how they approach this market. They don't have the same brand background, they don't have the reputation, the customer loyalty. They may not even have the logistics and manufacturing and whatever infrastructure, depending on the industry. So they're at a number of disadvantages, but they have an advantage because they've thought of a new way of competing. So that'd be quite interesting. Impact of indirect and substitute players. Now, if we just look at direct competitors, we don't know this. But if we take our perceptual map out and look at related products, so a substitute product, so here's a product category for us that we're in, and here is other products that people could buy. So for fast food, they could also go to a restaurant, they could go to a cafe, they could go to a vending machine, they could go to a supermarket, they could eat at home. There are lots of choices when somebody needs convenience style foods. So if we just look at us, perhaps in fast food, we are going to miss all of these substitute players. Usually, when a company starts eroding sales or revenue, it's either one of two things. It's direct competition that's stealing market share, or it's a new industry or an indirect competitor that is eroding into the overall product category. So by mapping and watching indirect players, we're going to have a much stronger understanding of how robust our industry is, our product category, whatever our dimension is, and how do we protect that. So very, very important that we get beyond just direct competition and look at the market much broader. We can use perceptual maps and not just look at the overall market, but drill down to different segments. And it may be a segmentation that we haven't thought about it. We may have a standard segmentation approach, and we've got this our target market, and that's a secondary one that'd be nice to get. And here's some other segments that we haven't thought about or haven't pursued, so they're not targets. Doesn't matter, we've got a lot of customer data here. Hopefully we've captured it, not just our target market, we've captured people outside of that as well, which you would tend to do by a survey. So then we could use that to start playing around with our segmentation, to actually see different segments that we haven't used before. Where do we do well? Where do we not do well? Gee, that's interesting. Gee, we have a big appeal in that part of the market. This is a different way. We're using maybe psychographic segmentation there, or benefit segmentation, or behavioural, different ways. And we can just play with this data and have a look at where we're doing well in terms of positioning. Gee, we're a standout in that segment, and we've never thought about it. Obviously, some of those people are buying our brand, but if we were to execute a media strategy pursuing those people, or manipulate our marketing mix, or add a product line extension that targets those type of customers, wouldn't that be fantastic? Okay, we can look at new product success. Obviously, as new products come in, we're doing that all the time, or perhaps products come out or they're being replaced, we can see how they populate on the various maps. And not just us, our competitors as well. Where are they going? What are they targeting? So again, it gives us more insight into their strategy. What have they pulled out? Okay, what are they trying to do? And what are we trying to do? Most new products are in the sort of the support stage or the launch stage of a business for several years. We just don't launch a product and go, there you go, good luck with that. We bring out a new product and we've got to nurture it. It's like a baby. We've got to develop it and grow it and support it until it becomes a profitable product in its own right. So early on, we're going, yes, we're on track. Yes, that's the positioning we intended. Or, okay, that has not executed too well. The positioning hasn't come up. It's been poorly positioned because it's a new product, or it has lacked awareness or something like that. So this is a great tool also to help manage and nurture new products. Key attributes. Now, because we're looking at multiple maps, we are rotating and changing these attributes. Hopefully we've done some focus groups before we've done the survey, and we've constructed the survey and the image questions we're asking from various focus groups, so the consumer type-based attributes and ones that they consider important. And then we can go through and go, and map them out and see, oh gee, this is an unusual map. The configuration's quite different here. Okay, that brand's up here and they've got 40% of the market. Okay, and we rotate through and we look at other maps and go, okay, well they're on this different set of attributes. This brand here's only got 5% and they tend to be there. So it gives us insights into the attributes that consumers use that are driving sales behavior. Okay, so we can connect the positioning back to market shares or some other sales metric that we can look at and then work out, well, that's foundational, or that combination, or these three attributes are the ones that stand out, that are determinant attributes, the ones that determine the consumer's choice. And then finally, we can have a look at the connection between perception versus reality. Now we could go through and analyze products and go, our product is superior on better ingredients, or it's got better technology in it, and that's reality. And then we can have a look at how consumers see it. Okay, they see it differently. They see that our competitor is more advanced, or the technology that we use is not as efficient, but that's not real. So that gives us an opportunity to say, okay, we're not being effective in our communication. Okay, so as you can see, there's a dozen ideas here. Perceptual maps, unfortunately, when they're presented in a marketing textbook, are presented quite simply, and they're thrown in at the end of the chapter discussing positioning, and you might have a couple of pages on it, and that's it. And it's typically a 2-axis one. There are other ways of doing perceptual maps. See a link in the video below, and where I've discussed different approaches. But this is a very, very powerful tool, provided we do number one here. If we just do, oh well, that's 2 attributes, there's a perceptual map, voila, not all that effective. If we go through and look at perceptual maps as an analytical tool, then it becomes very, very powerful and a key part of our ongoing marketing analysis. So hopefully that was a good video for you. Please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel.